In a world consumed by escalating living costs and economic instability, one might expect luxury brands to be teetering on the brink of collapse. Remarkably though, they're not merely surviving but thriving. How can that be? This video examines this intriguing paradox and explores the evolving dynamics within the luxury market that allows it to stay buoyant amidst an ocean of economic uncertainty. This deep dive will reveal how luxury brands, often associated with extravagance and excess, are navigating through these turbulent times with innovative strategies and an unwavering commitment to their brand ethos. Let's dive in. For those involved in the world of glitz and glamour, aka the luxury business, the past few years have been like attending a never-ending gala, no matter what kind of shiny, fancy thingamajigs they're selling. Yet the factors contributing to this flourishing differ from one luxury area to another. Let's examine these areas to know how each of them have been holding up. Right now, people are pouncing on these goods like a cat on a laser pointer, causing sales to blast off into the stratosphere. This luxury-laden sector has been growing like a well-watered chia pet for ages, save for a couple of oopsie daisies during the oops there goes the economy moment of 2008 to 2009, and the oops I can't leave my house period of the recent coronavirus pandemic. But lo and behold, even after these global hiccups, spending on personal swankiness not only picked itself up, dusted itself off and started all over again, but it took off like a greyhound chasing a rabbit, reaching new levels of wallet-draining heights. It's a phase when folks are practically clawing at their walls, desperate for an escape after being cooped up at home longer than a bear in hibernation. That universal itch to hit the road, leave all the past hiccups behind, and forget our collective Groundhog Day experience is more widespread than a yawn in a boring meeting. And what's the remedy, you ask? Luxury goods, of course. These shiny tokens of extravagance are like magic carpets to a happier headspace. Who cares about the pandemic when you have a diamond-studded watch, right? LVMH, the kingpin of luxury, recently grew so big it could see its house from space, becoming the first European firm to cross the eye-watering, astronomically ginormous market value of $500 billion. Its stock has done a rather nifty uphill sprint, jumping by 34% this year and strutting a mind-boggling 70% high kick in just the past 7 months. It's like they've been eating their Wheaties. This glitzy giant is the proud parent to famous brands such as Louis Vuitton, Dior, Tiffany, Hennessy, and a laundry list of others, which are as synonymous with luxury as caviar is with fancy crackers. The company's been bathing in the deep pool of demand for European luxury, catching the industry offside like a soccer player who's forgotten the offside rule. The reawakening of Europe, and particularly the US, has given LVMH a booster shot, bigger than anyone could have predicted. Add to this the comeback of Chinese consumers, who've been significant players in the Let's Help LVMH Get Even Bigger game. It's been a perfect storm of luxury love, and LVMH has been happily surfing the wave. Since the world went mask on due to the pandemic, purveyors of high-end bling have seen their sales shoot up faster than a skyrocket, hitting targets in almost every market, even those that were once as unnoticed as a wallflower at a high school prom. Once ignored local markets, think France, Italy, Spain, Thailand, Singapore, and others, are now getting their Cinderella moment. It seems the good old days of playing favorites with particular languages and regions are over. When the world was sent to its room for an extended time out, luxury brands finally started noticing the local folks knocking on their doors. Sure, the United States still wears the crown as the luxury goods prom king, but the belle of the future might be none other than Asia, with China being the sash-wearing, rose-holding standout. Thanks to China's growing GDP, and a middle class that's expanding faster than a bread dough on a warm day, it has been the nitro boost behind the souped-up engine of the luxury business. Just mulling over the figures, back in 2021, China was home to around 100 million well-heeled families who didn't mind splashing the cash on all things opulent. Fast forward to 2025, and this figure is set to do an impressive gymnastics routine and double flip to a whopping 200 million. This represents a sizable crowd that is happy to shell out for luxury goodies. And it's important to remember that this just accounts for the Chinese top hats. On top of that, around 1/4 of the Chinese population, tallying up to an astounding 350 million people, could be grouped under the middle-class banner. That's more folks than the total population of the United States, which is kind of like comparing a jumbo jet to a paper airplane. This gigantic pool of potential customers dreaming of designer tags makes for a dream market for luxury retailers across the globe. globe. Even though consumer tastes might be as changeable as a chameleon on a rainbow, Chinese shoppers still have a soft spot for foreign-made luxury goods. Local brands in China have had their own moment in the spotlight across a range of categories over the past 10 years. But luxury isn't one of them. Just about half the Chinese folks are open to giving local glam a whirl. Yet the size of local luxury brands is like a teacup poodle next to the Great Dane of major European brands. Sure, there have been some budding startups that have shown promise, and European bucks have started flowing into the Chinese luxury market, but they're still toddling while the European brands are running marathons. Asia boasts two other cash-rich playgrounds for the luxury items. Japan, the retail therapy hotspot for those with fat wallets, has always lured moneybags to its deluxe shopping arcades. South Korea, in contrast, holds the title of world's biggest aficionado of ritzy labels. Louis Vuitton, noting South Korea's love for the finer things, recently threw its first major shindig there. Morgan Stanley reports that the average South Korean didn't think twice before dropping a cool $325 on personal luxuries last year, which is $50 more than the typical American and 6 times the usual Chinese splurge. What's more, a mere 20% of Koreans feel any twinge of embarrassment or restraint when it comes to flaunting their affluence, a stark contrast to cultural attitudes elsewhere. This propensity to flash their bling, particularly among the younger folks, has been like Miracle-Gro for luxury markets in these areas. The post-pandemic return of these markets has propelled luxury retailers to new heights, benefiting from the increased demand and consumer confidence. Now, the million-dollar question, or perhaps the billion-dollar question in this case, is how long can this luxury joyride keep cruising? The industry has now gotten savvier, spreading its bets instead of putting all its golden eggs in one national basket, which helps lower the risk. The fuel behind this industry's engine is the world's wealth, and given China's colossal size, it's likely to keep playing the role of the industry's muscle car. South Korea's trajectory is set to rocket up thanks to the fattening piggy banks of its youth. Japan, on the flip side, is banking on Chinese tourists opening their wallets. The rising star of Southeast Asia is also making heads turn. Hence, there's plenty of runway left for the luxury industry to continue its supersonic flight in the foreseeable future. While regular car sales have been lounging around like a lazy cat, the sales graph for fancy rides has been shooting up like a rocket. The sector is expected to keep its foot on the growth accelerator well into the next decade. Those swanky set of wheels with a price tag north of $500,000 are predicted to vroom ahead with an annual increase of 14% until 2031. So what's stoking this trend? Eric Finos Dahlstrom, the head honcho of the global luxury marketplace James Edition, reports that their platform has seen luxury car demand skyrocket. The cars are changing hands at an average eye-watering price of $400,000. Hinting that they're dancing with the high rollers in the luxury world. Both shiny new luxury cars and gently used ones are being snapped up faster than free samples at a food fair. Over the last 2 years, the demand has climbed faster than a caffeinated squirrel, with prices soaring to nosebleed-inducing heights. Funny thing is, while personal luxury items only really began to strut their peacock feathers post-pandemic, luxury car sales were already speeding down the autobahn in a Lamborghini during the pandemic itself. Why, you ask? Well, it appears folks decided they'd rather soup up their rides and bask in the lone wolf comfort of their personal Batmobiles than rub shoulders with every Tom, Dick and Harry on public transport. Adding to the comedy of the situation, car manufacturers decided to play a game of chess. A global oops moment in the microchip supply chain during the pandemic created a pothole in car production, swiftly maneuvering. The automakers traded in their fast and furious mantra for less is more, preferring to lavish their attention on their VIP, premium stallions to balance the books. These cunning moves have turbocharged the luxury car market, demonstrating it's not just all show and no go. Add the expanding club of cash-loaded folks around the globe, as seen in Asia, to the crafty game plan of compact car manufacturers to play hard to get in markets like Asia, and you have a recipe for luxury car sales going through the roof. Now, unlike your regular run-of-the-mill cars, these swanky rides don't depreciate faster than a speeding bullet the second they vroom out of the dealership. In fact, some luxury cars pull off a magical stunt where they actually double in value the moment they step their wheels outside the factory. Talk about an automotive Cinderella story. Thanks to their aura of exclusivity and scarce supply in the market, these cars are like golden eggs in the world of automobiles. It's easy to trace the roots of excessive payment for real estate to the pandemic and the following tsunami of remote work. Like seriously, people ended up clocking so much time in their own homes due to lockdowns and home office shenanigans that they started to feel like hibernating bears. The realization hit people harder than a ton of bricks. that their current homes were about as suitable for all this indoor time as a chocolate teapot. They wanted more room to stretch their legs, and that often meant packing up their things and skedaddling. This trend played out like a theatre drama on the James Edition website, as folks hunted for homes that offered a fresh twist to their lifestyle, but still had enough bandwidth for a Zoom call. In 2021, there was a massive scramble among the world's fat cats to nab more space, which sent luxury home sales rocketing to a dizzying height, 35% above the pre-pandemic era of 2017, according to Forbes. In 2022, the housing market turned into a high-stakes poker game, with price records shattered left, right, and center in ritziest corners of the world like the US, Hong Kong, and Europe. The Americans' craving for European properties remained as strong as a cup of espresso, largely due to their beefy dollar and stock market wins, and cash buyers, a species quite common in the luxury real estate jungle, barely raised an eyebrow at the high interest rates that sent chills down the spines of those shopping for more humble abodes. While sales of posh palaces and grandiose villas have shown more moxie than their humble counterparts, the burning question hangs in the air like an opulent chandelier. Can this ritzy roller coaster keep rolling? It's like waiting for the other Gucci shoe to drop as we anticipate the tail off of the mass migration trend, assuming everyone's already finished their global game of musical houses. Luxury home sales in 2022 barely scraped past the pre-COVID count, like a diamond-encrusted limo barely beating a Tesla to the stoplight, hinting at a cool down from the sizzling sales soiree of 2021. Despite this slight setback, these palatial properties still draw the attention of cashed-up kids, ready to part with their piggy banks for a taste of luxury, painting a picture of a sustainable glitz and glam growth. And don't forget, there's a whopping wealth transfer on the horizon, a real jackpot in the next 10 to 15 years. Imagine gargantuan inheritances trickling down to the fortunate heirs, further fanning the flames of luxury consumption. Now, considering the sheer volume of would-be buyers that can't resist the allure of the luxury market, the long-term view looks as golden as a gilded Versace doorknob. And that's a wrap on our deep dive into the luxury revolution and how top-tier brands are sidestepping the cost of living crisis. Intrigued? We've only scratched the surface. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for your first-class ticket to see other related content like this. Thanks for watching, and until next time, bye.